Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Luke, and you're watching Luke the Gathering. Thanks for checking out the channel, and I really appreciate that. Today was the first draft at the store for Murders at Karlov Manor. I think, yeah, Manor. I always want to say mansion, but Manor. And fun time. But not a ton of folks were out there. Usually for the first draft, we have quite a crowd. Today, I don't think so. We had two pods. I think one pod of 8, one pod of 6, like 14 people. That's not a lot. Usually we get like 30 or even more than that. So it's a little strange that we didn't have, a ton of participation in the draft. I'm hearing that this set hasn't sold very well. Some of the people at the store were just chatting and saying, well, that people might not like this theme. It's not that strong, even though, they try to push it with it being in Ravnica. Someone made a good point that it feels like a New Capenna set, all of the detectives and things like that. And I was like, oh yeah, it should be New Capenna. But I guess New Capenna would have been way worse because I don't think New Capenna was that strong of a set in terms of, people loving it. In fact, I think a lot of people didn't like that set. I liked it, personally, but I might be one of the few people that actually like Streets of New Capenna. So, yeah, who knows? But in any case, from what I've played, I went 1 and 2. The one round that I won like in 10 minutes. Like, it was that fast. I got my bombs out. I had 2 really great rares that were bomby, and they just took over and we won. I drew them both, and we won the game. In the other games, one rounds I flooded both. I actually had to mulligan both times, and I just kept drawing lands. And so I kind of don't count that because we were both playing Boros, sort of aggressive, but I drew all my lands, and they didn't. And what happened was, they rolled me over, which makes a lot of sense. But my first game was the sort of grindiest one, which is bad because I was in white-red, as you can tell. And with white-red, I really tried to go fast. But his deck, my opponent's deck was there to kind of grind it out. And so what as what happens, I just took a huge chunk of his life total off. He stabilized and then built up the board. I could no longer get through. They win the game. Very, very common play pattern. And so, once I realized that, after the first game that we played, the second game I was just even faster, but they were able to get like a 2/4 flyer out. And then I remember that creature just stopped me cold in my tracks. I couldn't do anything against it. And then suddenly they had like 2 or 3 more things on the board, and it was over after that. So, let me show you the deck. It is an extremely fast deck, especially if it can really get out there. It will get there very quickly. But kind of bomb or busty is what I think of these. The deck that I built today. So let's turn the camera around and check it out. Okay, let's just take a look at the sideboard first. These are the cards I drafted but didn't put in the deck. We have Demand Answers. We have a token. These used to only be in set boosters, but now they're in these play boosters. I got Leyline of the Guild Pact. I feel like this is, at the time of the recording, this is worth about $7 or $8. I don't know if it's going to go way down or up. I think it could go either way. Maybe Commander players would love this. It's an interesting card for sure. Reconstruction, I thought that was cool. Granite Witness, I think, is a pretty good card. Out Cold is a good one, I think. But I was in pretty much strictly Boros. I got this Audience with Tristani rare. Concealed Weapon. Okay, so, those were kind of the things I got. Let's go to the proper deck. Got an Escape Tunnel. Knife. I like Knife a lot. It gives something first strike. Really makes the opponent think like, hey, do I really want to attack? Because first strike makes a huge difference, especially like in combat with the disguised creatures. They have ward, so maybe weapons especially ones that give first strike combat tricks, they're better in this format because a lot of creatures will end up having ward. Frantic Scapegoat is kind of a card I just wanted to give a try. It worked out pretty well. Got in some good hits, made other things suspected. Only 1 mana, pretty cool. Market Watch Phantom. This was the Market Watch Phantom deck I built. I had 3 of them, and I was hoping like, hey, maybe I can get these cards out. They can kind of fuel each other because whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield, the Market Watch Phantom then gets flying. And it did its work. I mean, it did get those little bits of damage in all the time. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough for most of the games. Seasoned Consultant, red-white's all about attacking with 3 or more creatures. And when it does, this thing becomes a 3/3 instead of a 1/3, which I thought was pretty good as a 2-drop as well. Innocent Bystander, another 2-drop that I just wanted to put in. Inside Source is pretty cool. I love that it makes a 2/2 detective when this thing ETBs. Also really love the pumping part where you can pump the detectives +2/+0 and give vigilance at sorcery speed. I actually think that's really, really cool. Red Herring. I think this is a really nice little constant attacker. And then, of course, you can, when you're done with attacking, you can sacrifice it. And once you sacrifice it, you can draw a card because it's a clue. Gearbane or Orangutan didn't do anything for me this game, but on Arena I've used it for sure. It's cool to destroy artifacts. Some decks it'll wreck some decks. And then some other decks it won't do hardly anything. Make Your Move was surprisingly good for me. I find like people do have bombs in their decks and large creatures, and this just gets rid of them at instant speed, and they hate that. Galvanize, pretty cool. 3 damage, target creature. Does 5 if you draw 2 or more cards in a turn. Auspicious Arrival, like I said, combat tricks have been feeling better to use in this set, so giving +2/+2 and investigating is nice. Then the Chase is on, is getting +3 in first strike, and you get investigate. This is going to win most battles, I think. I ended up putting 2 in the deck. Demand Answers. I wasn't sure how to feel about this card, but you have to sack an artifact or discard a card before you draw 2. I did use it. I think it's okay. Expose the Culprit. This should not be in the deck, probably. At first, I thought I had that flying expensive angel card, but I actually didn't, so not the best card to have in the deck. Caught Red Hand is really interesting. It's an instant. First of all, it can't be countered, but it's one of those steal their opponent's creature effects, and you get to use it. But it's at instant speed, so like, I wonder what the other scenarios are where it would be good at instant speed. I just don't think this is that good at instant speed. All right, Magnetic Snuffler. This is really cool because part of the text says whenever you sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on Magnetic Snuffler. Well, this card here, Harried Dronesmith, makes a 1/1 Thopter artifact creature token every single turn, and then you sacrifice it. So this thing and this thing, I think, make a nice little combo. Dogwalker, good card. A lot of people like this card. It makes 2 dogs. They come in tapped. Not much to say about this one. Krenko's Buzz Crusher. I had this during pre-release. It did a lot of good work, and it did a lot of good work today. When it was out, it was hard to stop. Even against me, I had to play against it as well. Someone else got that in their packs. And then pack 1, pick 1 was Aurelia, the Law Above. Flying Vigilance Haste, just amazing, and it has other upsides as well. But when I played Aurelia, which was only my round 2, and I got her both games, we just won. That was it. There was nothing else to say. So Aurelia did great. If I drew my bombs like Aurelia, or even Krenko's Buzz Crusher, I was way more likely to win. And if I didn't, then obviously way more likely to lose. All right, for my troubles, we got a couple of murders at Karlov Manor. Play boosters, same ones you draft with. Let's open it up and see what we get. This one does have an art card in it. Ooh, and this is the faux signature art card. We got a Full Art Island, Felonious Rage, Pyrotechnic Performer. I think this is actually pretty decent. Rare, at least the one that I like. I don't know what you guys think of it, but I like it. I think it's good. Demand Answers, Full Art, Novice Inspectors. Some really good cards in there, actually. All right, pack number 2. 2 art cards, huh? Wow. Or not two, yeah, because you can get tokens and stuff too. We got a Candlestick, and then we have Anzrag, the Quake Mole, Mythic. It says whenever Anzrag, the Quake Mole, becomes blocked, untap each creature you control. After this combat phase, there is an additional combat phase. And then if you pay this ridiculous 7 mana, 2 red and 2 green thing, it must be blocked each combat this turn if able. It's a pretty strong green-red card. And yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching. This was my first, foray into the new set, Murders at Karlov Manor. And I'm looking forward to doing some more. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.